I was trying to reach Lee. This is Alex from HealthyTrampolines.com.
Oh, hi. Yes, I'm Lee.
Hey, good to meet you. Is now a okay time? Just want to follow up with you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You're on the East Coast, as am I. What state are you in?
Delaware.
Okay, I'm over.
How about you?
In New York City area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same
okay.
time zone.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So have you looked at Rebounders for a little while or anything like that, or checked out different brands?
Yeah, and I like all the information on your website, and it's so much information.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what is really best for me to get. I love the appearance of the lymphosizer, and that's what I want. But I'm trying to be rational about it and look at what do I actually need instead, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The main thing I want to use it for is the health bounce. But I'm hoping that as I feel better over time, then I'll want to do more on the mini trampoline. And so, you know, maybe the cellar sizer or one of the others would be better for a combination of things. I don't know if that made sense.
Okay. No, it makes complete sense. And have you gotten a chance you ever used a rebounder before?
Yes, I did. A couple weeks ago, I was at a friend's house for a week, and she had one, and I just loved it. It was an older urban rebounder. And she was explaining that I should get something that would be more expensive and higher quality because my health is so bad. But I just adored doing all I did was get on it and bounce a little. She told me she told me to keep my feet on the mat, so that's what I did the whole time, but I just loved it. It felt so good.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing is, to really get the right kind of health bounce, if you will, with your lymphatic system, you don't actually have to leave the mat. But there's not too many trampolines out there that have the right type of spring or mat technology to basically open your lymphatic system like that properly.
Yeah.
Do you have just curious, do you have like a hard price range at all? Just so I can at least start to get you into a certain category here of what we should talk about.
I'm kind of open to just about anything.
Okay. So, can I show you the $2,000 rebounder?
Oh, well, maybe not that high.
Just kidding. No, the highest is Bellicon. It's around like $800 something. But you know what we've discovered in our research is we think that it's probably a little bit overpriced. You can actually get something that's at that level for more in like the $300 to $400 range. That seems to be the sweet spot that a few of the top companies have priced their rebounders at. But then how do you decide? I'd say probably what seems to be the most popular and what we end up recommending a lot, because we've reviewed all of them, is Jump Sport Lymphosizer, Cellar Sizer. Those, I think, kind of for the price point, are going to give you kind of the most versatility in how you want to use it. You can use it for the health bounce. You can use it for doing more like cardiovascular, where you're bending your knees more, jumping further off the mat, those types of programs. Do you have any sort of like health issues, any knee issues or ankle issues or anything like that? Hip issues, lower back issues?
I've got a bad back. My lower back is real. It's easy for me to damage it. I don't mean damage it, harm it, I guess. Well, maybe that is damage it. But yeah, it's easy for me to mess it up. And I've been to a chiropractor, and that's helped immensely. Okay. So I don't want to be aggravating my back as I'm doing any bouncing on a trampoline,
Right.
I want a trampoline that's going to be gentle to my back.
Okay. I was going to say, so what you'll find if you've ever jumped on cheap trampolines with really poor spring technology, or just double springs, not the best mat, is it's very jarring.
Is it?
Yeah, very, very jarring. In fact,
Okay.
you end up in more pain than less pain getting off of it. And that has everything to do with when you actually land on the mat, the deceleration rate, and also how fast it pops you back up. How much G forces are being applied to your body. Sometimes when you jump on the really cheap ones, it pops you back up because the tension is set too high, and it just jars the whole body. What the reason there's a couple that I really like is for people with kind of like bad back issues. The cellar sizer is really good because it's balanced for anywhere from for anybody 140 pounds up to it's probably say like 300 something pounds. They have 3-tiered springs there. They're also the heaviest springs we've ever measured, most durable. So what that means is that you can jump on that thing, and it gives you a super soft bounce. And if you jump harder or jump higher off of the mat, it'll just put tension on that third spring if necessary. So it has extra springs if you basically what I'm saying is that having the 3-tiered spring gives you more versatility in how you jump. It can support somebody that's of a heavier weight, or support if you're doing an exercise program on it where you're jumping higher away from the mat, without it being too much of a ballistic or like a hard deceleration that just having 2 springs would get you. There's some good trampolines out there with 2 springs that they're okay, but there's kind of some limitations to them, either in your weight or by how high you're jumping off of it. And the durability factor with those springs is that if you want something to last for a lifetime, then you really have to have 3 springs on there. Because that third spring helps reduce the strain that's put on the other 2, depending, again, on how high you bounce or your weight. So without that, the wear and tear on those 2 springs goes very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Is the Celicizer the one that said that you might not have to ever replace the springs?
Yeah, that's the one I'm kind of talking about with the 3 springs. They're the only one that really does that, the 3 barrel springs on there. You just got to oil it like every 3 months is what I do, just keep it from squeaking, and just reduces the friction a little bit on it. But
you actually oil the springs themselves? Okay.
Yeah, every 3 months. If you want it to not squeak at all and you want it to last a long time, but it's very, very, very soft bounce. But it pops you up with a lot of G-force, so it opens the one-way valves of the lymphatic system really effectively. And no other trampoline really quite does that. I do get the same effect with the Lymphosizer, but it is a little bit more. It's about $100 more. Does it warrant that extra like $100? I'm not sure if it really does. It's a little bit stiffer when you jump on it. So I really want to lean more to the side of giving you something softer to bounce on because of your back.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to risk you finding out you're unhappy with it a few months down the road type of thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you paid significantly more for it. It's a great trampoline, and you get a lot more bounces in per minute. But we've put a lot of different customers on it as well as our own, and it seems to be a little bit stiffer for sure. And in the jump sports, they use bungees because instead of getting metal springs, you can do bungee cords. That's one that I use at the gym a lot. They're popular at gyms for more aerobic types of exercise where you jump higher off of it.
Okay.
And you can jump higher on it. What that does, it actually works more your stabilizer muscles. It basically tones your core more effectively if you jump higher off of a trampoline. This one actually pops you up higher. It basically pops you up higher off the mat because of the way that the bungee cords give. And I personally think it's a softer bounce than the Celicizer. Celicizer is the softest bounce for spring, and then Jump Sport gives you, I think, a slightly softer bounce than a metal spring. And then it gives you 7 settings. See, normally I would never recommend looking at a bungee, but they give you 7 tension settings. So what does that mean? You might actually jump on that thing and feel like it's still too intense for you on maybe your knees and your back or whatever. You can basically then adjust the tension to be softer, which is pretty cool. And then, or maybe say you want to adjust it to be harder. So maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you feel like maybe you're not getting quite the same spring in it anymore. You can always then adjust the tension level higher. Ordinarily, most other ones using bungees out there don't have that function. So what happens is, you just, there's no way to adjust tension levels. So it may wear out sooner, or if you think it's too jarring, you can't really adjust it. But my gut feeling is that, even though it does tighten your core more and does produce more G-force jumping higher off a trampoline, you probably wouldn't want to risk that, until maybe, I'm not sure what's up with your back, but, maybe that's something you could do down the road after you tighten your core up more, but you're probably going to want to not really leave the mat a whole lot, for a little while until your body adapts.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with my balance sometimes, so I'm really leery of leaving the mat at all.
So that brings up a good point I should have asked, is the Jump Sport and the Cellar Sizer both have a bar that you can get with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Lymphocyzer doesn't have one. I don't know why they don't, but
in Australia and New Zealand they do.
Yeah.
I was looking on the internet, but nobody over there will ship one to me.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So yeah, I would probably recommend the bar then if you said that. You don't want to risk anything, otherwise it defeats the purpose of having a trampoline.
Yeah.
You get injured. So yeah, it normally adds like an extra 40 to 60 depending when you add in the bar.
Okay.
But yeah, and then at the same time you can multitask. Like sometimes I'll be on the phone or I'll watch something and I'm not paying attention and I can just put one hand on the bar.
Right.
And I like that, yeah. And then it's easier to get on and off of it. So I definitely support that. We don't want our customers injured.
Of the Cellar Sizer or the Jump Sport, which would be the quieter one?
Yeah, man. I was just thinking about this recently because I was on my Jump Sport, and what I noticed, because I've had it for a little while, is it was starting to get a lot noisier than it was. Just a couple of years ago, but here's the thing: I usually leave it outside in the garage, and it picks up a lot of dust and stuff out there, and temperature change, and I think it really affected the bungees. I think that it made it a lot louder by getting like maybe dust and dirt in them as they stretch.
Yeah.
So it makes like a scrunchy sound. It's not a spring. Like metal, it's a different kind of sound. You know what I mean? It's like a scrunchy bungee sound. It's hard to describe, but it generally when you get it, it is like you cannot even hear it. I mean, it's so quiet. Like if somebody was in another room, they'd have no idea you were jumping on the thing probably.
Oh, really? That's good.
Cellar Sizer, I will say that by nature of it being metal, it is louder, but it is It's the softest sounding metal spring trampoline on the market for sure.
Okay.
It is very quiet, but it's kind of hard to beat a bungee cord. It's a very different material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not like if you've heard a cheap trampoline, or even anything in like the $100 price range. Those are probably 3 times louder. I'd say those are way louder.
Which ones are the way louder ones?
Like the cheaper ones that are like around the $100 price range or less.
Oh, okay.
Yes, if you've ever heard those are way louder. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. And then it sounds like the Cellar Sizer is the one that really would be better for me. If I were to use it for the health bounce, I'd still be doing it very gently, I think. Or it would be gentle on my back, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you just tighten your stomach, and it is about as gentle as it's going to get. Meaning, if that was still too rough for you, then you probably wouldn't have any other options.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You could maybe try jump sport and set the tension level really low. The only problem with that is that it's like to open the lymphatics flush, you have to get enough G-force. So, which would mean that if you set the tension level too low, you may still then have to jump higher. You know what I mean? To get enough G's, which then would defeat the whole purpose.
Right.
So, but all I can tell you is that the Cellercizer, the way that they digitally tune the springs and that kind of thing, you don't have to leave the mat. So it should be the least jarring because you're producing the minimal amount of G-force required to open the lymphatic channels, meaning you don't even have to leave the mat, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. So that would be the least jarring to your body. You wouldn't really activate a whole lot of stabilizer muscles. It would really mostly just be activating your lymphatic channel. Like if you wanted to activate more of your core and get your heart rate going, you'd have to jump higher off the mat. Does that make sense? You'd have to bend your knees more and use more of your leg muscles. That's not the effect that we're going for here. Maybe in the future that would be great if you're going to slowly get there.
Right.
But that's certainly not the idea. You don't want to exacerbate symptoms early on. So.
Should I look at it as getting the Cellercizer for this initial period, and then maybe eventually getting a jump sport or something else when I get into more cardio and more core?
I'll say this, that you don't need to. You don't need to. This is what I imagine. Like the people who are, these are the jump sports you see in gyms a lot, and people are jumping pretty high on those things, and doing like all sorts of different kind of crazy moves. If you had that in mind, real high intensity training and that type of thing, which I don't know if that sounds like what you'd be getting into, but
not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Then I'd probably select that one. But you know, like the Cellercizer comes with an exercise video DVD, and you can even get another like 2-hour DVD as well in addition. It takes you through a full exercise program that's very, very thorough, and you can use it with that trampoline. As I said, so you're not really going to get into an area of usage that maybe you'd want to go to jump sport for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it at all. This is probably the best-selling trampoline that we sell out of all of them. And,
the Cellercizer?
Yeah. I mean, we get asked for that, twice a day minimum.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes more per day, but...
I just wish they made them with all those rainbow colors.
I know.
That other one
trust
is
me,
so
I think it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I agree. Yeah, I know, they should make it more interesting or customizable. But,
plain black is kind of depressing to me.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But when you jump on the thing, you'll love it when you jump on it. So, I know at least you'll be happy with it. But
well, then I think I'd like to go ahead and order the Cellercizer.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to say.
Yeah.
So so here's the thing. It normally comes in a bifold, which is nice, so you can kind of store it away. And then you add in the bar. It's like an extra $60.
Right.
So the old, if you've been on the site, has the old pricing up. You're not going to enjoy this, but the timing is such that today is the day. Actually, it was midnight last night that they changed their price for the first time in 6 years. And part of that's because the company's being purchased, merging with another company. So they changed it for now a $30 difference.
Okay.
So all dealers and everybody have to comply with that.
Right.
So you just missed it.
I just missed it. Oh, well.
All day long I feel bad about telling people this.
I bet. You'll get used to it.
Tomorrow will be a little bit different. I won't feel quite as bad, if it was a full 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that what does that bring it to? So that's 400. So it's like $425. It includes shipping and includes the bar.
Okay, I'm trying to get on your website.
Actually, it's $420.
Let me see here. There was something else I wanted to ask you about it.